Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, April 26th of 2026. Now, last Sunday I answered a few email questions and I had a whole stack more, so I thought I would just flow into a few more of these emails. And what this really was, because I went through these after I'd gone through them last week, I went through them again, and there's actually some really good tips and really good questions, but I thought it would be really helpful just for you to see some of the responses I get from the emails, especially the one where I ask for questions about my health routine, uh, the whole anti-aging, aging process. Some really cool things kind of came out. And I think what I would like this to inspire is for you to maybe send me an email with some questions. So just jane@barlowherbal.com. If I don't get back to you super fast, please give me a little bit of grace on that. I still actually have a bunch of emails that I've read through, but I marked unread because I haven't had a chance to thoroughly go through them and answer them properly. So just know, here's one thing I would say. If you have some specific questions about products and things that might help with some issues you're dealing with, reach out to my team. Reach out to either customer service at Barlow Herbal or our phone number. I'll put it below. You're going to get a lot faster response from them than you would get from me. And I will eventually get to your email, but sometimes it does take me a minute because I am the one who answers all my emails. I don't have an assistant. I've kind of always preferred it that way, but sometimes it does take me a while to get back to you. So I'm just going to start on these, and I'm going to just again say first name for privacy. And these are actually some people who I've been in contact with over the years that pop into my inbox regularly, and for this I'm super grateful. So this first one is from Jody, and here's what she says in her email. With so many supplements and formulations out there, it's hard to know what your body needs and how much it needs. I mostly use preventative supplements like LDM, Brain Glow and Memory, and collagen, mushroom blend, magnesium for sleep, and a cortisol blend for my low thyroid. Every time you turn around, there's something new, such as berberine because of the GLP fad. Totally true, Jody. It does get overwhelming because we all want to meet our body's needs, and regular medicine pushes prescription medication, not herbal medicine. Extremely true, right? We rely on what we've read about supplements, and that is why you are so important to us. Thank you, Jody. I am grateful. Your knowledge has personally helped me tremendously. I wish there was an easier way to find out what the body is lacking, and I also wish that dosage was easier. Seems like herbal medicine is higher in dosage, and I don't understand how a 300-pound man should take the same dosage as a 100-pound woman. I end up using less than recommended because it feels like a lot of herbs running through my system, and if not needed, the kidneys and other organs need to work harder to process it. Is that a misconception? Thank you for your knowledge. So here's what I think about that. I probably, you might need a little bit more herbal medicine than you do prescription medications. Depends on the situation. It's like eating, you can't overeat. Well, maybe it's not the same. Overeating something of a really nutritious food, because I think you can overdo herbal medicine. This is where, honestly, what we put on this is what we do personally, is on our products, we put an average dose. So say it says 12 to 15 drops. We actually make it lower because we have such a wide range of people who use a product, and it's best to go a little bit lower because a lot of times you don't need a lot. Now, it also depends on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a virus, a bad bacteria, something like that you would use LDM for, it's very safe to hit it hard if you've got an acute infection. So before I finish talking about this, let me just say that whatever I share with you is not meant to be medical advice. This is all to educate and entertain you. Because you're dealing with something like health conditions, prescription medications, powerful herbal medicine, the nuances that are different between men, women, all the different things that we've encountered over our lifetimes that makes us different. This is just based on my own research, my own experience. None of this is meant to be medical advice. So please do your own due diligence, okay? So for something like an acute infection, what I would do, and I've done this for decades at this point, is I will do a very high dose of LDM or lomatium for even every hour until it's cleared up. Sometimes it clears up overnight. Sometimes I'm markedly different by the end of one day. If I wake up feeling a little bit under the weather, and we can all tell at a certain point when we've gotten something that really kind of, we understand that this is going to get a hold of me. And it depends on who we've been around, the people in our family. So I would just say, I think it's great, Jody, that you're actually going lower. And it's not even that it's erring on the side of caution. Basically, you're tuning into your intuition about what your body needs. And that to me is that's the key, because our intuition is always strong and we can muscle test. This is probably, there are a bunch of different tests you can do. And I'm going to bring Dr. Nielsen back on, and we're going to answer the question about what testing is best, what the different tests are, and some resources where you can go get a test. I know a lot of tests you can do online now. You can send in a sample of blood, urine. You can even send in a stool sample to places, and they can tell you what your body needs, where it might be off, what microbes you're dealing with. So there's a lot of really amazing places and amazing types of tests that are available out there. Personally, I do all muscle testing. For me, it's all, what does my body energetically need? And I've honed this into such a high skill for myself that I trust it completely. And I'll actually get up on a day and I only do like one or two things. I leave out my whole day of what I would normally do during a supplement day that is common for me. And I will literally just, my body is asking for a break. And it's very subtle. So I do think that sometimes our body needs a break from this. Is where, Jody says, I feel like the herbs running through my system, if not needed, the kidneys and other organs need to work harder to process it. Yeah, that is true. And that is, if you're getting that feel, that's because not just all the knowledge, but what you've gathered from listening to your own body. So that is very true. Okay, so this next one. Hi, Jane. I read all your email messages and have purchased a few of your products in the past. Unfortunately, I haven't been using them because of the taste, which I can't mask in any drink, even strong coffee. But my question to you for your new video is, what kind of testing should I do in order to figure out what herbals are best for me? Blood work or urine or mineral testing or heavy metal testing or diagnostic stool testing? So I kind of put those two together. And this is from Shirley. So thank you for that question, Shirley. This is such a good question. Again, my go-to answer is muscle testing, but this is a kind of a highly trained skill that you just get from practice. And there are some massive benefits to getting these things tested. So I'm going to bring Dr. Nielsen on and we're going to go into depth. Okay, so this next one is from Joanne. Thank you for doing this. One question I have is how to know when to rotate your supplements, seasons, when sick, etc. How to tell if it's worth continuing as a supplement. So this is actually a super good question because there are herbs I take seasonally. During cold and flu season, if I'm not taking LDM, I'm taking something typically with LDM in it. Now, 2 years ago, I formulated a very powerful antimicrobial blend of herbs called Pivot 8. And it's got chaparral, it's got cryptolepis, it's got olive leaf. It's got some really powerful antivirals, 8 of them, and antimicrobials. And so seasonally, I do something that helps my body if there's any microbes or cold and flu or whatever going around. And that I do seasonally. I do vitamin D seasonally because I get plenty of sunshine and vitamin D in the summer. I make a note of it. I do think it's a good idea to test your levels of vitamin D, especially if you have dark skin and you don't absorb the vitamin D through your skin, or if you live somewhere where you don't get a lot of sun. Maybe you live somewhere where you just simply don't have access or make the time to go get sun. I mean, that's a really good question. This is actually something I'm going to go over in detail when I film my full supplement routine, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, okay? Thank you for that, Joanne. Now, this next one is from Laura. Super sweet, okay? Looking beautiful, but your kind soul shines through brighter. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. That's very sweet. I turned 65 this year on June 27th. I didn't realize we were the same age. Woot woot. I just met up with some of my high school friends. We graduated in 1979. Yes, I also. Almost 50 years. Time flies like a roller coaster. Hang on tight or loose, depending on how we look at it. Going with the flow might work better. I love that. And I agree with that. Sometimes we get ourselves all worked up about what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. Going with the flow is such a beautiful way to remind ourselves to live this life. So here's what Laura finishes with. My input would be, and perhaps you already have this, but herbs and supplements section for people dealing with cancer. Okay, this one is tricky because on our website we can't. It's ironic because there's a Proposition 65 in California that's been out for a long time, and because of Prop 65, we have to put warnings on our website that say this product may cause birth defects and cancer. And they have such tiny trace minerals or levels of lead that's acceptable, that's way, way, way above what any vegetable or herb that's grown in the ground that would normally have. So we do have Max's Power Bundle for C. That is on our website. But a really good way, I would say, if you're interested, I do have modules on my online course where I can talk freely. And I'm going to be adding to that. So it's a few years old at this point, but a lot of the information I share in there is completely timeless. So if you're interested, this might be a good time. If you're interested in taking, just opting into my online course, use the code course 50 and it will give you 50% off it. So if you're interested in that, I speak freely and I go into detail about the cancer protocols that we have, that I suggest, and etc. So let's see. And then how to impact the stem cells, mitochondria, a really good question for Dr. Nielsen. Maybe more in depth on viruses too. I will say one thing about viruses. Besides a microbiome that we have and all of the bacteria that makes up our body, we have a virome. We have viruses that make up part of our system that literally is there to keep us healthy. And that might sound kind of crazy, but Dr. Zach Bush actually puts out really good information about understanding not just our microbiome, but our body has learned to survive because of the exposure we get to virus, fungus, parasite, yeast. And I'm not saying we should let these things overgrow, but viruses help our body adapt and stay stronger. We build antibodies. And it's when our immune system is low, when we have too much stress, when we don't have a good diet. There's all kinds of factors that can make our virome kind of go out of whack. But it is a part of what keeps us alive, is getting a virus, building an immune system around it. And our human body is so amazing and so miraculous. So that's something that Dr. Nielsen and I will definitely go into more. So thank you for those, Laura. Okay, now this is from Maria. I love everything you write about your attitude in regards to the aging process. Thank you. This really started for me over 30 years ago when I discovered the power of herbs and vitamins and that I am totally in charge of my own health. Yes, yes, yes. We are each responsible and in charge of our own health. When we give away our health to our spouse, our doctor, even our natural doctor, they can help empower us and help us with knowledge, and they can guide us. But we are the one in charge of our own health. And when you really embody that at the deepest level, everything about your health and your life changes and explodes into amazing wellness. So that's amazing. So I'm 81 years old and taking all the supplements that have kept me healthy and energetic all this time. But it started in a long time ago. It did not come overnight. So true, Maria. These things are sometimes trial and error. I do believe that sometimes we can take too many and then we can kind of reset. Sometimes we can try things that might have worked for someone that's a friend of ours, and then we try it and our body doesn't really like it. trial and error. And the nice thing is you might maybe get a little nauseous, you might get a little diarrhea, you might get a little rash here or there, but herbs are safe. And again, use your common sense. There might be things that you're allergic to. There might be a family of plants that is not good for you. So again, this is sometimes where testing can really good, especially allergy testing, if you're prone to that. So this is really sweet because Maria is apparently connected to somebody that was a good friend, colleague of my dad's. So it did not come overnight. It has taken consistent and educated care. I owe this to my mentor and dear teacher, Marjorie Ward. And I remember Marjorie very well, who was an admirer and a follower of your dad for many years. She learned from him and passed on this information to anyone that was willing to listen. I was one of those people, and I am so grateful to her. You have followed on your dad's footsteps. God bless you for that and continue to bless you for a long time. Your generous heart and wealth of knowledge is a real gift to all. Please continue doing what you're doing. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for that. I'm telling you guys, it's emails like this that keep me going, and just the impact that I know I get to have. So to actually get the feedback and get some of these emails and comments, it actually makes a bigger difference than you might understand. So thank you. So this one's from Pam. I've eliminated the word old regarding age and instead refer to myself as mature and experienced. Yes, 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 yes. I'll be 80 in 6 months, but don't act or feel like it. Therefore, I prefer to think of 80 as the new 60. Hallelujah. There we go. Because my perspective, the way I want to live my life is I want to get to the end of my days whenever that day comes, and I want to die old and healthy. Old and healthy, whenever that day comes. Because I think that is how we're designed, how this physical vessel that carries our beautiful spark of divine peace of God consciousness that we are, this vessel is designed for wellness. And there's so many pieces of this puzzle. A lot of it is mindset, belief systems, getting rid of stress, blessing the food that nourishes. Even if we only have access to lower quality food, bless it. You have the power to change the structure of the food by giving it love and blessing it to nourish your body. This is something I think we forget, and we maybe don't believe it, right? I think that's probably the biggest part. Okay, so thank you for that, Pam. Okay, this next one is from Johnette, and I hear from Johnette a lot. And Johnette, I love hearing from you, so thank you. Hi, Jane, this is a wonderful topic. I'm a little older than you, but since an early age, I have been actively interested in health, herbs, exercise, yoga, and all things healthy. Maybe a sweet once in a while to keep from being fanatical. I think we can all relate to that. I think what really matters as we age is being actively involved in keeping our body, mind, and our spirit healthy as much as we can. I think one should start early, not waiting until we're too sick, and the difficulty in reversing an illness is hard to reverse. That is really, really true. Healthy habits compound. And I think that when we get these habits in place as a young person, if you're younger and you're watching this, which I know my audience is a little bit more around my age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. One of the best things that you can do is start these habits when you're early, because good habits, just like bad habits, they compound. It's not easy for me to keep healthy on this planet. It's doable, but not easy. And I would agree with that. I like being healthy. It's work, but it's fun. What a great attitude. And I would agree. I think the same thing. It's work, but it's so fun. I think we should give the body a chance to heal itself by giving it the things that it needs to maintain health. I think the body and maybe the mind takes longer to heal from an illness when we are older. Agreed. I think that's just how we're designed. This is a finite experience. None of us are getting out of here alive. And I think we need to give ourselves the grace, the rest, the time, and pick up a good novel. That is something that I made a commitment to. I just got in the mail this week a book, a series of books that was recommended to me by some really good friends, and they're total fiction, and it's the Gray Man series. And I guess there's a Netflix series based on this. I haven't seen it. I don't really watch TV, but I just picked up nine of the books, and I'm starting with the first one. I'm a few pages in, and this is one of the things that I'm doing for myself, because if I'm not working, I'm researching, I'm looking at what's going on in the world financially, and I'm paying it like sometimes I realize I just need to rest. And I think there's such a healing that happens when we let ourselves enjoy being on this planet, right? So I totally agree with that. I think the body and maybe the mind takes longer to heal from an illness when we are older. That's why I think it's important to start on the health regime when younger if you can. But sometimes for some, starting later in life may be work, but everyone is different. I also love focused life force energy. Me too. And I'm so glad you brought that up. There's a link below this video, awakenthefield.com, the field of high consciousness. It's quantum technology, and this is you can do a 15-day free trial. I've now had this on my home, this field of high consciousness. It's incredible technology, but for 2.5 years. And I also have it on my work building, and I can tell the difference. And you can sign up and get 15 days for free. So I know some of you have taken me up on that offer. Every once in a while I bring it up because I think it's really important technology as human beings move through these amazing times. We are in a life-changing, very rare cycle that comes around every 26,000 years. And we are in it. We are in it. And I believe this is where humanity makes the change. And I personally, at this point, I do not feel discouraged. I am like so excited for these times that we live in. This is one of the reasons that I am like dedicated to taking such pristine care of my health, because I want to be around to watch it and see it and watch humanity unfold into this beautiful abundance and health and what we know we're all designed for. Okay. All of the stuff, we're in the thick of it. We're in the thick of this happening. And I believe that this technology helps keep us, when we get all of the negative energies and the negative stuff happening, this keeps our space in a high vibrational field of pure unconditional love. It's a beautiful technology. And then she goes on to say, I love your products. I need to order more lion's mane and brain glow. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Johnette. We've been communicating for a long time, and I love so much when I see emails from people on a regular basis throughout the months and the years, and it makes me grateful. Okay, this next one from Elizabeth. Good morning. Can you help me with the tincture that will help with heavy fluids in the legs and feet? Won't clear up, and my doc is against water pills due to breastfeeding. Does beta glucan help? Been walking every day, drinking water and flushing. Does cranberry help? I just want to go natural. Thanks for any advice. So what I would say is take a look at a tincture of red root. Now, we don't have that. There is some red root tinctured in our immunity boost, okay, which is totally fine if you're breastfeeding. But red root is very, very good for the lymphatic system, and one of my favorites, and something that we might eventually bring out because it is such a beautiful lymphatic cleanser and stimulator. Then I would say the next one that's right there along with it is echinacea. And we do a pure tincture of echinacea. Echinacea, most people don't realize because it's so well known for cold and flu season, the immune system, but it's very, very good for your lymphatic system. And it helps to move the fluids throughout your body. So take a look at that and see if it resonates. And then if you can, find a tincture or a capsule product of red root. And I did do a video on red root that's in my Herbal Wisdom videos that lives on YouTube. So check that out. I talk a lot about all the properties of red root and what it does. So this next one is from Sherry, and this is the last one. I love your input on this. What questions? Okay. I'm going to be 69 years old. I follow your protocol for cleansing, etc. I would like to know what your vitamin regime is every day. And as you say, not for the quick fix, but what you take daily besides the Brain Glow and the Heart Love. Do you take the Brain Glow, Heart Love in pill form or tincture? I love your tinctures, but I guess it's a personal thing. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. I'm part of the Healing Strong group that you actually spoke to us last year. Love your presentation, Sherry. The tinctures, I think there's a reason that sometimes we prefer that. I love tinctures. I think one of the main reasons I love them is they're very fast acting. They go right into the bloodstream. Nothing has to digest and process, break down. Herbal tinctures in the alcohol base can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is super awesome. I go back and forth between the capsule brain glow and the tincture brain glow. It really just depends. Sometimes it's very convenient, especially when I'm traveling, to take the brain glow capsules. But the tincture is definitely something to think about and absorb, right? Because it absorbs so quickly. Now, there are sometimes herbs that need to go through the digestive process. For example, if you are dealing with an ulcer and you want to take cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper in a capsule form can go into your stomach. We do have Heart Love, which has a little cinnamon and a little slippery elm as well, both awesome. But the capsule will go into your stomach, the veggie cap will dissolve, and your brain, your maybe your common sense or what you would think would happen is that the cayenne would irritate an ulcer, but quite the opposite happens. I've had dear friends, other people over the years that have had a very painful stomach ulcer, and cayenne pepper goes in, nourishes it, and I've literally seen it heal. And remember, this is not medical advice, it's just my own opinion, okay, based on my own experience. So I would just say that's a very personal decision. But if you can do herbs in tincture form, for the most part, those are very bioavailable. Your body doesn't have to work to do anything to break them down. They simply absorb. And I really didn't answer the question about the taste and how some people, they won't take something because of the taste. So this is actually a really, really good reason to take Brain Glow in capsule form, because you're still going to get amazing benefits. And because this product, like the rest of our products, are so clean, we don't add any fillers, we don't add any preservatives. These are all so clean and so filled with just the pure herbs that you get. Your body recognizes them and can digest and process them. So this is another good reason to do capsules versus tinctures because of the taste. So I'd love to know what you think about this. If you have additional questions, I'm going to throw out another request for more questions. And then next time I come on, it's going to be the first Sunday in May. And then I'll be dropping my new supplement routine, because 2 weeks into May, I jump onto the 65 bandwagon, and here we go. I also wanted to give you a quick reminder to keep a lookout for my annual birthday / Mother's Day buy one, get one free on our Glowing Vitality Gold. We do this every year. We've been doing it for a long time. It typically is $110, and you can get 2 bottles for the price of 1. We'll probably put that up next Sunday, because a lot of people give this gift to their mothers, and sometimes they give it to themselves. This is a lovely, lovely serum. We make it all by hand. So keep an eye on your email for that next week. And again, I'm reaching out for more questions. And I love you guys tons. What a brilliant time to be alive. And we will see you next time.